Hello and welcome to the Ice Guys, brought to you by the National Hockey Now Network. This is the show that takes you into the world of the National Hockey League. Every game, every day, from a betting perspective. With pro sports handicappers, Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith, and various guests from the world of hockey and sports betting. And now, here's your host, Ian Cameron.
Welcome to the Ice Guys, presented by National Hockey Now, Wednesday, March the 29th. Ian Cameron and Alex B. Smith with you, ready to break down this Wednesday NHL card, which just has 3 games, which is kind of nice because we did do a very long show yesterday. And, of course, the BetCast, which went right till the end. We actually stayed on until the end of the Edmonton-Vegas game. We pushed it a little longer than we thought we would with that. But, yeah, another fun night of hockey last night. And from a profit standpoint, it was one of the better betcasts, live betting performance-wise, for yours truly. I think for a lot of us. We hit some good live wagers. I think we did better. Unlike some previous betcasts, we didn't get off to that slow start. We actually started winning immediately, and it was overall a profitable night. It was actually a night where I think, if you look back on it for me, the live bets did better than the pregame bets for the night. So it was an enjoyable betcast. I don't think we've laughed harder than we did last night. I mean, for some reason, it was just everybody was just in a great mood, and they were just the laughs were flowing left and right. Funny stories, funny jokes, funny shit. We did have a moment of drama and tension. We won't go too much into that, but that was unfortunate. But the good news is, for the most part, it was another very enjoyable betcast, and always fun hanging out and watching the games with all of our great viewers and listeners. Alex, last night, the betcast, the overall night of hockey was very entertaining for the most part. We had some really intriguing games overall on the slate last night. Edmonton and Vegas, boy, what an impressive performance by Edmonton last night. We saw them take down Vegas and basically rip them apart 7-4 last night. A huge 2 points for Calgary. Detroit with a 7-4 victory over Pittsburgh, and then a game where they not only won the game and handed the Penguins a little bit of a blow to their playoff hopes, but they got their coach ejected for being very angry with that goal being allowed earlier in the game for the Penguins on the goalie interference call. Vancouver, I wish they had beaten St. Louis, but it was an entertaining game, 6-5 Blues in overtime. I know Rich H. in our betcast last night from beautiful Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, which is where he was, cashed a live draw for that game. So that was a great bet by him. Tampa with a 4-0 shutout against Carolina. Very good, much needed for Tampa to see a W on the board, and try to get themselves back, into some kind of good form prior to the Stanley Cup playoffs. The upset of the night, Nashville. Finally, Boston has their lull game, if you will. And that was last night. They lose to the Predators 2-1. Philly beats Montreal 3-2, and the Rangers club the piss poor jacket defense and Michael Hutchinson and put up a 6 spot in a 6-2 win. Alex, thoughts on last night, the games and the betcast?
Yeah, betcast was fun. I didn't have the most profitable of nights. It was unfortunate. One of the plays that I know you jumped on and liked, and a lot of people did, was that live over 4.5 with the Flyers and Habs. And for some reason, BetOnline had that thing locked down to the point where it pretty much opened up and then a goal was scored, so we couldn't get anything down on that. So that was kind of unfortunate, but those things will happen when you bet live on a nightly basis. Sometimes you like a play and you just won't be able to get in on it. But did hit a couple, did get that next to score, which eventually was the game winner for the Detroit Red Wings. And we love that game. We said that Pittsburgh would come back, and then you grab that big plus price with them. But it was just a fun back and forth battle. Those are the games you want to have on a live betcast, and those are the games you like to hit live because you can find some good edges and opportunities. And like I said, it was fun. There was some moments of tension, of course, but like I said, a lot of laughs and just a good time all around. So really enjoyed it. And like I said, some great hockey. Obviously, we're seeing that playoff type of intensity with some of these games right now, and that's going to continue, especially tonight with only 3 games, but all of them with some playoff importance for each of the teams involved. So should be another fun night.
Absolutely. And look, there's only 3 games tonight, but there's huge implications with all 3 games. So it's a fun card for a short card here tonight. And a lot of implications, like I say, when it comes to division races and playoff races, including this first game, especially for the visiting team, the Florida Panthers, who desperately need a W here as the losing streak is now 3 for them. They take on the Toronto Maple Leafs. The Leafs minus 145, home favorites, 7 the total in this game. You get used to this with Florida games right now. We're not seeing 6.5. That's now a few games in a row now where the totals automatically opened up at 7 in games involving the Florida Panthers. It's been a tough, run for the Panthers here. They've lost 4 straight games and not playing well at the time of the season when they need to be playing their best. They still are on the outside looking in right now. It's really a combination of factors, what we're seeing with the Panthers. Their defensive game has not been consistent. Sergei Bobrovsky up one game, down the next. That's been an issue. Really, the defensive game has been the biggest issue, though, during this 4-game losing streak, because they have given up a grand total of 21 goals in their last 4 games during this losing streak. That's just too many goals you're giving up, especially for a team that's trying to make the playoffs here in this game. That being said, there is an angle that does, and look, I'm not anxious to back Florida, but there is an angle that has me leaning in their direction here tonight. We saw it last night, right, with LA and Calgary. It's a quick turnaround situation. Calgary was drubbed 8-2 in LA by the Kings. They faced them last night, less than about a week later, kind of a revenge situation. They needed the points a lot more than their opponent did, Calgary, last night, and they got the win. This kind of feels like that same spot. And so I am actually going to go with Florida here, believe it or not. And I'm going to break my vow that I'm not going to back this team because we're betting prices always, and we're not so much teams. And, you're getting plus 125. It's a back against the wall spot. And let's be honest, who needs the 2 points more in this game? Florida by far. Okay, yeah. Toronto is not only going to coast into second in the Atlantic because Tampa's not catching them. There's a huge gap, and Toronto's still got 2 games in hand on Tampa. So, the likelihood of the Leafs stumbling enough in the last, 2 weeks of the regular season to cough up home ice advantage in the first round, it's not going to happen. There's just too much spread between them and the Lightning. And plus, the Leafs still have the 2 games in hand on Tampa Bay. So this is a much bigger game for Florida. And Florida got embarrassed at home by the Toronto Maple Leafs last week in Sunrise. That game ended 6-2 in favor of the Leafs in that game. So I think all things put together make Florida worth a look here in this spot. And if they lose tonight, I mean, it is what it is, and I'll be frustrated. But from a spot perspective, to me, this is the perfect spot for Florida. Now, can it be the perfect performance? Can we see their best players step up? Because I thought Matthew Tkachuk even had an off game for a guy that's been pretty good for them lately. He didn't really do much against Ottawa the other night when they lost to the Senators. Everybody was quiet. Verhaeghe didn't do much. Barkov had a quiet night. I mean, all the best players for the Florida Panthers kind of took a night off against Ottawa. That can't happen tonight. They got to step up. They got to be impactful. They got to find a way to get their offense going. And more importantly, they got to get some stops from their goaltender. And defensively, they can't keep taking bad penalties too, because their penalty kill is not that great. If you look at Florida's PK numbers this year, they are 28th in the league in penalty kill percentage. And Toronto's got the number 2 power play, only behind Edmonton and this, all-time great power play that the Oilers have. So Toronto's number 2 in the league with the power play. So if you look at the matchup, you'd better be disciplined tonight if you're the Panthers, because your penalty kill stinks and the Leafs have a number 2 power play. Only Edmonton is better in power play percentage in the NHL than Toronto. So that's going to be key for Florida here tonight. But I am going to take a shot with them plus 125 in this spot against the Leafs. It makes sense from that standpoint. And keep in mind, there's a couple depth players that are out here for the Leafs. Noel Acciari is out. He's been a nice depth forward for them. That he'll be missed for sure. There was some question about the status of John Tavares, the captain, but it looks like he's going to be good to go for this game tonight. No goalies confirmed yet, believe it or not, from what I've seen. Unless things have changed, I'm just going to look at an update right now for this game. But it's Samsonov for Toronto, upgraded to likely in net. We don't have a goalie confirmed yet on the Florida side, though. We think Bobrovsky, but hasn't been confirmed as of yet. But going to take a shot with Florida just because, we finally get them at a halfway decent price, probably because they're playing Toronto and because they've been struggling a little bit, losing 4 in a row. So I will take that shot with Florida. Might even sprinkle a smaller stake on the draw. It does feel like it could be some kind of a tight game here with the Panthers and the Leafs. And obviously I like the over, but I'm going to wait for something live at 6.5, which has been good because these Florida games, Alex, some of them have been falling on 7. Exactly 7 goals. Look at the last 2. The Ranger Florida game was 4-3. The Ottawa Florida game was 5-2. So if you bet 7 pregame, you pushed. So wait for that 6.5. Try to find that 6.5 live, and it could make all the difference. Could be the difference once again in a Florida game between winning and pushing your bet. What do you think here, Alex? Panthers and Leafs.
Yeah, absolutely. That's definitely good advice. Like I said, with these sevens right now, there's only maybe one or two teams that you either want to look at even going over 7, and probably Edmonton, would be the first to come to mind. But Florida, like I said, this is a team you can wait and get better value betting the over any game as opposed to the pregame. Toronto, I get what you're saying that this game doesn't mean as much to them as it does to Florida, and they are dealing with some injuries, and we could kind of see them maybe take the foot off the gas a little bit in these last handful of games. But I'm going to take a shot here with the first period puck line at plus 150 because I just don't trust Florida. Yes, Florida needed to win games, every single night it seems, but they're still going to need a bunch of help to even move forward as well, and they just haven't been making things easy for themselves. So I would actually lean. You can make a case for the draw in all 3 games because all the teams involved need points tonight. But this is the one I would be very, very cautious about with the draw. If you like Florida, it definitely makes sense to take the draw. But if you lean toward Toronto, I wouldn't be shocked to see them if they win this first period, they could go on and win this game in regulation. So I have a full unit on that first period puck line, and I'll probably sprinkle a little bit on Toronto in regulation, laying $1.05 as well. I could just see with Florida, if they don't get out of this first period with a lead or playing well, that they just could completely, the bottom falls out, and we see Toronto win this one 4-2. So,
all right. So like in Toronto early in this one is Alex, you're -0.5 at a nice plus price for the first period puck line here. Look, I totally get it. If you're betting form right now, you're betting Toronto. There's no question here in this game. But we'll see. I mean, but the Panthers, maybe they are. They're just they can't get over them. Saw it with Winnipeg last night. Sometimes the pressure you don't respond to it at all. And Florida's not, and Winnipeg is not. And they had a brutal loss last night to the San Jose Sharks, getting shut out by a team that had lost 9 straight games. San Jose's 2-14 in their last 16 games. Do you know the 2 wins were both against Winnipeg for the San Jose team? I mean, that's absolutely awful here for the Winnipeg Jets. And yeah, Florida's got to find a way to try to get themselves going. As far as props go for this game, this could be a night for me where you look at the 2 leaders, Tkachuk and Barkov, and shots on goal props. I mean, Tkachuk's like shooting 4+ shots on goal, 4 straight games. Barkov too. Verhaeghe's a good shots on goal option as well. He's gone 4-4-4, 9-5, 4-6-5. It's ridiculous. He's clearing 3.5 shots on goal with ease, and he's still lined at 3.5 as far as his shots on goal. So Carter Verhaeghe, we've talked about this shot on goal prop forever. Still worth a look here as far as I'm concerned here. And then in the point prop department, I still think, Yarncroke playing with the top line of Matthews and Marner is obviously always a threat and a good undervalued player prop option as well at the moment for the Toronto Maple Leafs. So definitely could look in that direction there as far as the prop market goes. Like I said, Tkachuk and Verhaeghe shots on goal has been extremely strong. E2 Kuhlman, Luostarinen, to get a point. I kind of like that as well here tonight. Sam Reinhart for Florida has a point in 7 of the last 10 games going into this matchup tonight. So some decent prop options. Maybe Alex Kerfoot on the Toronto side. I always like the players that have been struggling offensively. They finally score. And sometimes, they all of a sudden they get confidence. They're not gripping the stick nearly as much. And they just feel at ease, and you have a better chance of scoring when, you just don't overthink it. The puck's on your stick, shoot. You don't think, oh, what should I do? What should I do? Sometimes you do that when you're struggling. And now Kerfoot has 2 goals in the last 3 games for Toronto. So definitely his prop might be a good undervalued one here tonight as well. All right, New York Islanders, Washington Capitals, the first of a doubleheader tonight on TNT. We've got the Islanders -120, slight road favorites, 5.5 the total in this one. This is that spot where I said, on Sunday, I believe, when we recapped the Capitals and the Penguins, how are the Capitals going to get themselves back up off the mat following that loss? That was just such a tough loss, bitterly painful loss, heartbreaking, gut-wrenching, whatever term you want to use. You're down 3-0. You battle back. You tie the game with 2 minutes to go. You think you're at least going to get a point, and you have a chance at least to gain ground on Pittsburgh, the team you got to catch. And then Anthony Mantha with the mother of all horrendous, egregious neutral zone turnovers that you'll ever see. And it ends up on the stick of Evgeny Malkin, who buries it past Darcy Kemper for the game-winning goal with a minute left in the third period. Horrible loss for the Washington Capitals.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be easy to bounce back from that here in this game. But the Islanders here, I like them at minus 120. I'm going to look toward the Islanders here, but I'm also going to do a split with the draw. I do think it's going to be probably a competitive game. That's the one thing about the Islanders, even though I've got my concerns where the Capitals are mentally following that Pittsburgh game, the Islanders just don't win games very comfortably. They really don't. I mean, you look at the last few games, we saw the Toronto game was the exception, but we're going to see that it struggled with Columbus. If you look at series history, Caps and Islanders, it's been back and forth. Washington's actually 7-2 in the last 9 meetings, including 2 straight that they've won. But what's crazy is that these teams have not played, only played each other, I think, twice this year so far. So for 2 teams that are in the same division, and one in January, one in March, both of them won by Washington. But Washington a little bit of a better spot than they are now. I like the Islanders here, but I'm also going to sprinkle smaller here on the draw in this game. And as far as props go, when it comes to this game, anything Dylan Strome is good for Washington. Shots on goal, he's gone over that in 6 straight. His point prop continues to cash. I'd say keep going with that. Ovechkin's on a 7-game point streak, although I should point out you're never getting a bargain with that. So you're going to have to put it in some kind of parlay. Like I said, Strome with the points prop has been on fire. Alex Ovechkin scored in 4 straight games. So the Ovi goal prop, if you want to ride that streak, makes some sense as well going into this game. John Carlson, since he's returned to the lineup, he's had 7 points in the last 10 games, including the time before his injury. So he's definitely making things happen. So John Carlson to find the score sheet for the Washington Capitals, I could see it. Bo Horvat's trending over his shots on goal. That's not a bad look either here in this game tonight. And what else? There was one more I think that I was interested in. Noah Dobson to get a point, always a threat. Zach Parise, though, I'll tell you this. Zach Parise, another goal the other night. This is incredible from him. 5 of the last 6 games, he has scored a goal for the New York Islanders. So you talk about undervalued right now. The old man winter of the New York Islanders, Zach Parise, who's still getting paid, by the way, by the Minnesota Wild for that crazy contract he has with them. Zach Parise suddenly finding a little bit of a late season surge here offensively. So I would say there's some value with his goal prop tonight as well. Alex, how are you feeling about this one here, Islanders Capitals?
It's going to be a fun one to watch, but it's a tough one to gauge and bet. Honestly, I haven't had anything on this one, and the closest thing I come to betting would be the draw. Like I said, these 2 teams that desperately need points. The Islanders, I think, are a team in better form, but they have struggled against the Capitals. They've lost 5 of the last 6 in DC, 7 of the last 9 against them overall. So that tends to be a bit problematic of a trend. But like I said, this is the Capitals team that seems like every time they need to win a big time game, they fall flat. And I just know this Islanders, the way that they play, they're going to try and drag this out. They're going to make this a dogfight kind of a game. So I think it's going to be close. So I'll more than likely end up on the draw. But I can't take anything aside. And even totals 5.5, my gut wants to go over. But like I said, if we get a good Sorokin night going, that's a tough ask as well.
All right. Yeah, exactly. I think, the draw, I think, definitely has a shot here in this one with the 5.5 with the draw in this one. Again, nice price as well. You can get with that in the plus 340 range with the draw. So I think it's got a chance here in this game for it to go to over plus 340 in some spots. So definitely the draw has the potential here in this one. And total could go either way. Like I could see this one being 2-1, 3-1, 3-2. I believe we're going to see Sorokin and Kemper. Pretty sure that's going to be the goalie matchup here tonight. Yeah, they both haven't been confirmed yet, but both are have been categorized as the likely starter for their respective teams tonight. So expect Ilya Sorokin and Darcy Kemper to be the goaltending matchup here tonight in this game. All right, we got just one more game to go, and we'll get to that in just a moment. Shout out to everyone in the chat, 155 live viewers. Hit the like button. We appreciate it very much, and shout out as well to our podcast listeners listening to the podcast version of the show. We'll be back to talk Minnesota, Colorado. A great late game tonight, the second game of the TNT doubleheader. Big Central Division implications at stake there. We'll talk Wild Avs coming up after we hear from GramCo.
Support for the Ice Guys is brought to you by GramCo. Whether you or your team's game is on the field, screen, racetrack, court, or the ice, GramCo is for the game. Grown by farmers who spent years developing premium hemp genetics, GramCo provides customers with consistent quality Delta-8 THC products ready for any occasion. GramCo currently offers numerous Delta-8 products, including vape cartridges, disposable vapes, pre-rolls, gummies, wake and bake coffee, and more. GramCo offers an enjoyable, legal high delivered discreetly and directly to you. GramCo is also available at many American retailers as well. You can get the best Delta-8 cannabis products on the market shipped quickly and discreetly from GramCo. And if you visit www.thegramco.com, use promo code ICEGUYS, you will get 20% off of every order, and any order that's on the site over $50 will be shipped free with standard shipping. So live elevated with GramCo and check out their wonderful Delta-8 products today.
All right, we're back here on the Ice Guys. We got one more game left, and it's a really, really good hockey game coming up later on tonight. Minnesota Wild, Colorado Avalanche. Colorado minus 155, home favorite, 6 the total in this one. Again, now with Minnesota, putting this late season run together, because look, they played some pretty good hockey here for about the last month or so. They have now put themselves in a spot where they have closed they've overtaken, I should say, Colorado for first in the Central Division by 1 point. But Colorado can get first place back with a regulation win tonight, and they do have a game in hand on the Minnesota Wild going into tonight. So a huge first place showdown essentially in the Central Division tonight between these two teams. And don't forget, there's still another team in that mix too, Dallas. They're still very much in that first place hunt in the Central Division. So this is definitely a great, great game. And yeah, the draw is definitely appealing to me. It's not really a rocket science that I'm interested in the draw here. It should be a close game. It should be a competitive game. I don't see it being any, one-sided for either of these two teams tonight. And I think when you look at the goaltending matchup here, Gustafsson for Minnesota continues to be just magnificent, really. And he's being pushed by Fleury, because Fleury threw down the gauntlet, Alex, the other night with his performance against the Seattle Kraken in that victory, saying, I'm ready to battle you to be the playoff starter in game one. Fleury hasn't given up on that. I think Fleury kind of knows Gustafsson's probably got the inside edge right now, but Marc-Andre Fleury's making this late season, attempt at it, because he stepped up his game. Marc-Andre Fleury. There's no doubt he's been better the last few weeks. He is not ready to submit, and just surrender the opportunity to be the game one starter in net for the Minnesota Wild to Philip Gustafsson. So now the puck is on Philip Gustafsson's ice, so to speak, here tonight, where now he's got to respond, play well, and try to maintain his position here. So you've got a nice little competition going on. Colorado, they've won 3 in a row, and I give them credit because very plausible flat spots they could have had, playing Arizona twice, and then Anaheim, 2 teams that are way out of it, 2 of the bottom feeders in the Western Conference. They got wins in all 3 games. Some of them not pretty, like they had to go to overtime against Arizona, and they coughed up a 3-0 lead when they played them in Arizona. But they got the wins. That's all that matters. They got the wins. They got the 2 points. They didn't have a bad loss, and you got to give Colorado credit for that. As far as this game goes, they're still without Arturi Lehkonen, of course, and it looks like Josh Manson still day-to-day. Of course, on the Minnesota side, Kaprizov still out, Duhaime out, John Klingberg still day-to-day, and Ryan Reeves actually has been added to the injury list, unavailable, upper body injury, won't play, left that game Monday night due to that injury. So a little bit of not only some toughness and some forward depth lacking without Reeves tonight, but a little goal scoring too with what he's been producing lately for the Minnesota Wild. So it should be a great game. I think it's just sit back, watch, enjoy it, and bet the draw and hope for some overtime. That's the way I'm going to approach it here in this one with the Wild and the Avs. We still, even with that Seattle result, which was a lopsided 5-1 win for Minnesota, we're still talking about 3 of their last 10 games that have gone past regulation. Same thing goes for the Colorado Avalanche. These teams have played twice earlier this season. Back in October, it was 6-3. But earlier, the most recent meeting last month in February in Minnesota, 3-2 Colorado. And that game nearly got beyond regulation and into overtime. And overtime and shootouts have still gotten to that point between the Wild and the Avs in 2 of the last 5 head-to-head meetings. So that's really what I'm looking at here is the draw here at a nice plus price. As far as the total goes, again, a game where I think we could see so many different possible outcomes as far as the total goes. If it's 2-1 or 3-2 in this game, would it shock me? No. If it's 4-3, 5-4 in this game, would it shock me? Not really. So, I think the total is kind of, volatile. It could go in a bunch of different ways there. So I'm just going to stick to the draw and some props, which I'll get to right after we hear from Alex. What do you think here, Minnesota, Colorado?
So I will sprinkle a little bit on the draw here. Naturally, I've been doing that with almost every Minnesota game going back a ways. The same thing with Colorado. That's an obvious point. But I got a little bit more on Colorado in regulation minus $1.05. That's now to minus $1.10. So basically, I just need to avoid Minnesota winning in regulation, and I will cash in some fashion. And the thing is, it's funny, on another show I was doing, I was saying, wow, it'd be great to see Reeves and Manson fight because this is going to be a chippy game. These are two teams that are division rivals, fight for that top spot. They don't like each other. Well, neither Manson nor Reeves is playing in this game now, and it'll be interesting to see who steps up and answers the bell. I saw somebody else in the chat say the same thing, Curtis McDermott for Colorado, maybe Mason Shaw for Minnesota. But I definitely think we're going to see a real gritty, chippy, playoff feel to this game throughout the contest. Like I said, it makes the total very hard to look at. But ultimately, this is a Wild team that when they play in these big games, they tend to choke. We've seen them lose 4 straight in Denver. The favorite has dominated in the series. This is definitely one of those games where even if it goes into overtime, I still feel like Colorado will end up getting that second point. So I took a shot, like I said, with Avs minus $1.05 in regulation, but I also have a little bit of the draw there as well.
All right, so Colorado in regulation, the primary bet here for Alex, but a smaller look to the draw as well. As far as props go, I mean, if someone's going to produce for Minnesota right now, we know who it's going to be. It's Matt Boldy. This has been an incredible run for him offensively for the Minnesota Wild. He comes into tonight's game on he had a hat trick against Seattle. You talk about someone that has clearly gotten back on track offensively because he really was struggling a bit there. He went from January 28th against Buffalo to March the 2nd against Vancouver without a goal. Okay, Matt Boldy. I mean, he was in the throes of a big-time slump. And look at what he's done here in the last 5 games. 2 hat tricks and a grand total of 9 goals in the last 5 games for Matt Boldy. And he's gotten a point in every game, 3, 4, 6, 9 points as well in those games. He's just been absolutely fantastic. He's someone you got to bet right now as far as props are concerned at the moment for the Minnesota Wild. Because if someone's going to score and find the back of the net against Alexander Georgiev tonight, good chance it's going to be Mr. Boldy here for the Minnesota Wild. His point props actually, I can't believe how it's only minus 135. It's probably because they're playing Colorado on the road. It's a very respectable point prop, and it's probably a good one to look at. The goal prop is upwards of plus 205 at DraftKings right now for someone that's on this kind of crazy hot goal scoring streak. How do you not take that right now with Matt Boldy? It's just he's been on a great run. He's obviously getting the number 1 power play. And what's been huge about his offensive contributions is he's making up for Zuccarello cooling off since Kaprizov got hurt. Zuccarello definitely misses Kaprizov a little bit. There's no question. Joel Eriksson X, same thing, kind of cooling off a little bit, although he did finally get back off the schneid with a 2-point game, 2 assists in the win against Seattle. And Ryan Hartman, I like his point prop. I mean, we've talked about Hartman over shots on goal. It's funny, his shots on goal, they cooled off for a bit. He had a couple of games where he had the goose egg. And the last 2 games, he had 3 and 4 shots on goal. So I'd probably come back to that. Again, he's starting to get the puck fire in at the net again. Ryan Hartman, back-to-back games, he's gone over 2.5 shots on goal, 3-game point streak, goals in 2 straight games, 4 of the last 5 games with a point as well for Hartman. So another good prop there. Maybe even sprinkle on the goal prop because he has scored in back-to-back games. But the point prop is the one I really like. The point prop is one that I've been talking about with Ryan Hartman on this show for weeks now, and it's only minus 104 for him to get a point tonight in this one. On the Colorado side, because I do think obviously they'll get some offense going a little bit too. Bowen Byram is someone to keep an eye on, because even though McCarr's back, Bowen Byram is on a nice little point streak, and he scored in back-to-back games. 3 points, 2 goals for Bo Byram here the last 2 games for the Colorado Avalanche. He's been definitely heating up here. Big Val Nichushkin is really, really starting to heat up too for Colorado. He enters this game on a 7-game point streak and also goals in back-to-back games for the Colorado Avalanche. So the point prop is minus 180. If you're going to bet it, you probably got to put it in a same-game parlay. The goal prop is plus 186 at Pinnacle. But yes, Big Val Nichushkin definitely probably worth a look with his props tonight as well. And the Cuban Wayne Gretzky, got to love that name in our chat. Eric Sinek got 3 games straight with a goal against Georgiev. Very interesting. So maybe there's a little bit of personal success there for Eric Sinek. Knows where to attack against Georgiev, but that's an interesting stat. Joel Eriksson Ek with goals in 3 straight games when facing Alexander Georgiev. I'd assume that's going back to when they played the Rangers with him in net, because they've only played each other twice, Minnesota and Colorado, so far this year. So interesting stat there, something to keep in mind. All right, great stuff. That's the Wednesday card. Awesome stuff. Hit the like button. 184 live viewers on YouTube. Make sure you check out patreon.com/Ice Guys. Just $10 a month. Goalie charts, totals charts, power ratings, the daily Ice Guys show betting card, bonus content, and a lot more. Make sure you sign up there and subscribe. Just $10 a month. Patreon.com/Ice Guys. The Ice Guys playoff box giveaway presented by GramCo, of course. Make sure you fill out that form. Unfortunately, if you're a Canadian, you can't participate. But if you're in the US of A, sign up, fill out that form, and be eligible to win that contest. We'll have multiple winners, of which will be announced on the final Saturday regular season edition of the Ice Guys, Saturday, April 8th.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, check out the form that's posted right on the top of our Twitter page. Follow us on Twitter, of course, at @the_Ice Guys, me at AX Smith Sports, Ian at Bobano. Also, check out the Ice Guys store. 5 days left. You can save 20% on everything in the store. We've got some new shirts in there. We've got caps. We've got hoodies. We've got everything. Check it out. iceguys.myspreadshop.com for 20% off.
All right, great stuff there. And again, also the form, the link to fill out the form, it's also in the YouTube video description as well,
right, yes.
With every Ice Guys episode. So it's right there, right at the top too. So should be able to see it. And again, click that link and you'll be able to fill out the form to enter that playoff box giveaway presented by our good friends at GramCo. All right, best bets coming up, and we'll hear first from our other good friends, Manscaped. Support for the Ice Guys is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Their products are precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped's Performance Package, the ultimate men's hygiene bundle. Join over 7 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you, 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the promo code ICEGUYS. That's promo code ICEGUYS at manscaped.com. If my math is correct, it's about 14 million balls that you can preserve. The Performance Package 4.0 is the complete accessory package to take care of everything that is required. You've got, of course, the Lawnmower 4.0. Takes care of your facial hair and among other things. You've got, of course, the Weed Whacker. I'm approaching 40. Nose hair has become a major issue. It pisses the hell out of me. I need to take care of that shit, and the Weed Whacker can help you do that. Both of these products, waterproof and a 4000K LED spotlight for a more precise shave. And you'll also be able to take care of those delicate areas with the ball toner, with the ball deodorant, keep you smelling good, looking good, and feeling good down in the nether regions. This complete Performance Package 4.0 will take care of everything for you, for all you guys out there, and it's courtesy of our good friends at manscaped.com. So get 20% off and free shipping with the promo code ICEGUYS at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. And use promo code ICEGUYS. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. All right, we're back here on the Ice Guys, and unfortunately, I got to admit, and I see Dan H in our chat, and I owe him an apology, big time. He asked for the link to our betcast last night, and I never sent the damn thing to him, and it was just a slip of the mind. And and I'm just seeing as I was just during the Manscaped ad, I'm looking at my DMs trying to get caught up on some of them, and I see Dan H had asked for the link, and I said, yeah, I'm going to send it, and I never did. I never fucking did. Now we did have a busy night, so there'd probably be some instances where you may not have been able to get in because we were flirting at 10 or max capacity at 10 people for most of the night. But still, I feel bad, man. That's I apologize for that. We'll get you on next Tuesday for sure. If you're around next Tuesday, you'll get that damn link. I guarantee it. So I appreciate your accepting it. You're cool with it. I appreciate that. I feel bad still. Because I know you asked to be on last night. But Dan H has been on our betcast a bunch of times in the past. But we'll get you on next Tuesday for sure. All right, best bets to wrap it up. Alex, we'll start with you. What do you like for best bet?
Yeah, like I said, it's got a bunch of fun games with kind of a tough card. We're going to go with the Toronto Maple Leafs first period puck line, laying the half a goal plus 150 against Florida tonight. I mean, this is more of a Florida fade. I just don't trust this team right now. They've played sloppy hockey all season long, and I think the Crows have come home to roost. Basically, this is a bad Panther team, and I think the Leafs, at least for the first 20 minutes, should be able to take care of business and get out of there with a lead. Whether they put up a full 60-minute effort, it's a different story, but who cares? As long as we get out of that first 20 with the lead, we'll go with the Maple Leafs first period puck line, laying the half a goal plus 150. That's my best bet for this Wednesday.
All right, there you go. Liking that for a best bet. Toronto Maple Leafs first period puck line best bet for Alex B. Smith. My best bet. This honestly is best bet material. It's a player prop best bet because there's nothing really I love sides and totals on this 3-game card. But yeah, Matt Boldy to score a goal. I mean, to me, this price is great. It's got a great chance to hit because really he's been the catalyst of anything offensively that we have seen from the Minnesota Wild of late. The price is excellent. I'm just going to shop around because I know plus 205 is out there at FanDuel, DraftKings for him to score a goal. And I think it's just outstanding. But yeah, that looks like the best price available at the moment for that Matt Boldy goal scorer prop, plus 205 at DraftKings. It's also plus 200 at Bet99, BetMGM, PointsBet, FanDuel. But you're talking plus 200 or better for someone that's got 9 goals in the last 5 games. So it is best bet worthy, in my opinion. Matt Boldy, we're going to Boldy go where no better has gone before, betting a player prop here with Matt Boldy to find the back of the net, plus 200 for my best bet here.
Yeah, Kirill who?
Yeah, Kirill who, exactly. No question about that. So for when you're talking plus 200 price on a guy with 9 goals in 5 games, that is just outstanding value. So like I said, worthy of being a best bet on a very light card tonight. All right, that's it for the Wednesday show. Appreciate everyone in the chat joining us. Hit the like button on the way out. We appreciate it very much. A reminder, the Ice Guys is live 7 days a week, Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern, Saturday and Sunday, noon Eastern. And as always, if you can't watch the show live, download the Ice Guys podcast in audio form on all major podcast platforms, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and more. Download the Ice Guys podcast when you can't watch the show live. For Alex B. Smith, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Wednesday night. Enjoy the games and good luck. And we will be back tomorrow with a massive Thursday card on the way at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Join us Thursday for another edition of the Ice Guys, presented by National Hockey Now.